Corruption in Myanmar is an extremely serious problem. Owing to failures in regulation and enforcement, corruption flourishes in every sector of government and business. Many foreign business people consider corruption a serious barrier to investment and trade in Myanmar. A UN survey in May 2014 concluded that corruption is the greatest hindrance for business in Myanmar. Transparency International's 2020 Corruption Perception Index ranks the country 137th place out of 180 countries. In the Myanmar Business Survey 2014, corruption was the most frequently identified obstacle to business, especially with respect to obtaining firm registration, business licenses and permits from government authorities. It is common in Myanmar to charge illicit payments for government services, to bribe tax collectors to secure a lower tax payment, and to bribe customs officials to avoid paying customs duties. In 2007, the then Burmese government revoked several subsidies for various fuel industries, causing prices to soar throughout the nation. This sparked widespread protests due to the public's dissatisfaction with the military government. It was noted that the average citizen was displeased with the immense levels of kleptocracy in the nation, allowing members of the military dictatorship to live in a state within a state with accumulated wealth far beyond that of the people. The government reacted harshly to the protests through violence and arbitrary detentions. While the official death count tallied 13 killed, it is widely surmised that the true number far exceeded this figure. The government had even taken steps to censor internet access within the country, though to no avail. Although the demonstrations were dispersed and suppressed by the military junta, the public would later vote a new government in and wrested power from then Shui by 2011. Nonetheless, elements of the military government retained power. Myanmar spent 5 decades under military rule. This period ended in 2011, when a semi-civilian government took power and sought to regenerate the economy and draw foreign investment. Among its objectives was the reduction of endemic corruption. As of May 2014, however, those reforms were viewed as having had a minimal effect on corruption. Every leading official in the former military regime is said to have committed thousands of offenses related to corruption. Most high-level officials in the civil service were related to military officials. Since the end of military rule, Myanmar has been implementing economic reforms and developing a free market. But according to one source, its nascent market economy remains bound by myriads of regulations, which make possible rampant corruption that hinders the functioning of the price mechanism, upon which the proper functioning of the market economy is based. Kim Nin of the Asia Foundation said in May 2015 that despite efforts to reduce corruption after military rule, the country's business environment remained essentially the same, with few new companies emerging since 2011. An October 2015 article in Wired stated that notwithstanding attempts by the US and other Western countries to promote transparency, the majority of Myanmar's economy remains in control of a corrupt elite. During the privatization process, according to a report by the U4 Anti-Corruption Resource Center that was updated in October 2014, numerous state assets were sold to the military, family members, and associates of senior government officials at fire sale prices, according to several reports. Moreover, the military influenced the results of the 2010 and 2012 elections by means of fraud, restrictions on political participation, and prohibition of international monitoring. Some reasons for the high levels of corruption in Myanmar include multiple exchange rates, which enable officials to demand bribes for providing favorable rates, low civil service pay rates, and a tradition of nepotism. Quote, as there are no competitive selection processes to enter the public sector, notes one report, personal connections and bribery are maybe more important than qualifications. For instance, it is common practice to select ministers and high-level civil servants from the military ranks, rather than based on expertise. It has been observed that post-2011 Myanmar has an expanding informal economy, and that such economies are notoriously vulnerable to corruption. Petty corruption, meaning the extortion of small bribes or gifts in connection with everyday services. is endemic to the everyday life of Myanmar citizens. It is particularly prevalent when citizens deal with the bureaucracy of the country and engage with low to mid-level public officials. It is common in application processes for permits or documents, where bribes or gift-giving end up becoming unavoidable elements of the process. Perhaps even becoming culturally ingrained, with bribery rather being seen as gift-giving or a kind gesture.